Good day, good love, and great light illuminators and way showers. Hi, this is Wendy if you're new, and I slept in the tent last night. We slept in the tent last night. We got our backyard uh, kind of campsite gazebo out here, and it's early in the morning, and I was just immersed, yes, in this morning sunlight, the birds, the trees, and I just wanted to bring this light language blessing of gratitude. Yalabakoso, Shomijabi Kiala Ina. Masopoto Oro Koijima Ijaba Katayala Hiana Ia. One of my most favorite things to do is to be outside, to sleep outside. I know it sounds crazy, and it's not for everybody, but Liasa Mashavi Tomorrow, and I've been feeling all morning as if I had contact. I feel like I was on a ship last night. I really believe that when we, all of us, sleep outside, there's something different about our interactions, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure even if it's true or why I'm saying it, but the frequency feels different. Maybe it's more of an invitation, perhaps, from us. And of course I slept in the tent. I wasn't sleeping under the stars, but I feel like when I'm sleeping outside of the house walls, and maybe it's just an illusion, or well, everything's an illusion and a permission slip, but maybe it gives us permission to, I don't know, go places, have experiences in the astral. We have Esamoshokoya Ijono. Miatoki is that, and I'm not even sure if that's the correct terminology for this. And I know not everybody, even if you wanted to, have the opportunity to do that, but I would encourage people to I say sleep outside, and then I think about the people who have to sleep outside, so there is that too. But maybe that's a whole nother element that I'm tapping into, something that I don't know, maybe wasn't clear to me before about people who do sleep outside for whatever their reason. Tomorrow. Inamia esapakalion toko rumpake to Miss Badia. Of course I wake up and I hear, the road noise more than normal too, because I'm outside, but yoso kosho. But everything else is so acute. The sounds of nature when you're waking up outside of the walls of, of a traditional, home, apartment, whatever. And I think we all can agree that we, love sunshine, we love moon glow, we love starlight, because of course it reminds us that we are light. When I look at the sun and I see the sunburst and the colors, it reminds me, and it reminds me of who we are and what we literally are, is light. And we're sort of, balls of lights, of floating, I say floating, but floating information. and this is just spontaneous, so I really didn't have anywhere to go with this. When the emissaries of the light collective first came to me a decade ago, oh, here comes my puppy. Here comes Abby and Dave. They said to me, sorry, I got distracted. Oh, there's Abby. The light within you illuminates the light within me. They gave me a word, and they said Mahala, and they said it means the light within you illuminates the light within me, and the light within me illuminates the light within you, and together, greater, we illuminate the light of all that is. And, oh, there's Dave next to me now. Sort of in the shade in the sun. So, yeah, I was talking about how I think I had an experience last night, and as I talk about it, I start to get really emotional, and that's always my kind of go-to, that I know what I'm saying is true. I'm like, I know I was like on a ship last night, or I was somewhere, I was with our extraterrestrial friends in some manner. And so I was talking about how when we sleep outside, I feel like somehow, I don't want to say there's a greater connection. And then it started me thinking about the people who do sleep outside, who like have to, that, so, and I thought about, I was like, wow, it started making me think about closer connections to us, and using sleeping outside also as a positive permission to to open ourselves to contact experiences and so now I'm saying in my dream state, but yet something's telling me, like, I don't want to, like, I left because I don't, but I know I know I had some kind of experience, and so I was just turning on the camera to explore that thought, that and of course, before we go to sleep, we were looking at the stars and talking about extraterrestrial craft and being on ships, and
well, I think sleeping in a house, and it's not really looked at it this way, but we're creating another separation between ourselves and nature. And sleeping outside, even though it's not really that much different, just energetically and emotionally, I think we're taking away one of those separations that we've created. And even in a tent, sleeping in a tent, because we're making it all up. It's
anyway,
just,
right?
It's just what it seems like to us. So if it seems like to us, sleeping outside in a tent is closer to being more in nature than it is, because it's all beliefs.
Well, I think about how many people like us, and we don't even do it to the degree that many people do. We watch a lot of people who backpack and hiking and trail hikes, and not that I would do any of those things, because I'm not equipped for that right now. At least not right into this now. But I know there is another version of me that is doing that also, so I will say that. But I'm always astounded at how many humans, like on purpose, take their bed on their back and go backpacking and go tenting and go exploring and hiking and camping, and camping's something that Dave and I have been exploring, and we haven't been able to get out to as many campgrounds as we've been wanting to, but that's why we decided to splurge on just having a campsite in our own backyard, and built a deck for it because we didn't have any flat spot on our entire property actually to have a tent. So so from a light language perspective, or a spiritual perspective, or a permission slips perspective, extraterrestrial perspectives, there just seems to be some different vibrationally connecting experience. I'm thinking about this weekend. A lot of people are at the Bashar event in Sedona, and the energy that they experience there, like you could go there and not even have a ticket to the event and experience the energy of the people just in the vicinity, and those who are attending and those who are not attending. So my mind goes there too, that to those places on the planet that we know are chakra points on our planet, and how many of us are drawn to these different places, vibrationally speaking. And this is beautiful here where we are, surrounded by trees, and completely surrounded by trees, and no visible neighbors, which was something we wanted to, that was really on our big checklist for when looking for a house, was being in nature and no immediate neighbors. And so we really love, this is I think our first year. Yeah, this is the first year with this, with our deck here. And the weather permitting, we haven't really been able to sleep out here that much. So I don't know. I guess I just felt this impact today to share with all of you. First thing in the morning. We just got up a short time ago and having our coffee out here, and can hear a little city noise, little road noise. On Sunday mornings, it's pretty quiet too, and we're hoping to be able to sleep out here again tonight. And
we were gonna go camping this weekend, but that didn't really work out like we were thinking.
Had hoped, yeah.
So the great thing is we can always just come down here, and it's essentially camping.
And maybe that's one of the reasons too that I'm guided to share this today too, is all of the everything. I think, how do I explain this? Every part of my awakening process has had to do with being outdoors and being in nature and being with trees, and
almost all spiritual teachings say,
yes,
like, go back into nature.
And if you'll notice too, I haven't really been doing a lot of videos like I used to do, for a variety of reasons. One, walking this property and doing videos is a little challenging. There's quite a lot of steep hills here to walk and climb, and we've also been spending more time walking our property in general, and with the dog. Yeah, she's here with us playing her favorite game every morning, toss the ball. But has been an integral part of my awakening process, and to encourage everybody, when and if you have the opportunity, of course, as always, be more in nature, connect more with nature, intentionally I guess when I say intentionally, it's not like we have to say, okay, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to connect with nature. I guess it's more of instinctively, intentionally, like, I'm going to spend more time outside. And when I am outside, even if it's, to and from places and going back and forth to work or the grocery store, etc., how many times in the midst of all of that do we stop and look at the sky, look at the sun, be grateful for that moment, and maybe it's pouring rain, and there's times when there's nothing that excites me more than sitting, and watching the pouring rain and being outside but under cover, and how we are affected by that. And how that helps us navigate through our days. More presently, being more present. And I know everybody says this, every spiritual guide and teacher. And yet this right here, early in the morning for us, this is like our, every morning, this is what Abby wants to do.
It's Abby's meditation.
This is her meditation time. So it's like, she doesn't even care if we throw it far. She just wants to sit and catch the ball like 1,000 times. And so, say hi to everybody. So yeah, I didn't even have any really place I was going with this other than sharing our moments, our, how we really live in the language of light. And maybe as corny as that may sound, but we speak light language all the time, Dave and I. And even that idea just simply brings me closer to my own multidimensionality, my own pure presence, my own light. Maybe it's a way for us to tap into that, like the light of the literal light of all that is. And I don't want to use the words deep within us, deep inside of us, because that's not really the way it is. We are already that, and this physical body is just another presentation of that light, of that soul light. And when I say soul light, that source light that we are all of. It is not necessarily a light within us, but that's one way that we've been given to maybe understand, like our heart, our the place that beats, our heart that beats, and our solar plexus and our chakras, and that's how we express our light, and that our body is just another expression of that light, and that we're also creating our versions of each other. Every moment that we are in our highest possible vibration, we are, what's the word I'm looking for? We are interacting with that version, that vibrational version of these people in our lives. So while we're changing, vibrationally speaking, billions of times per second, we also have to remember, then there's a little confirmation, we also have to remember that, we're communicating with other energies, beings, people on a completely different level, because we're on a completely different level. And we often think we need to change another person, or we need to change our circumstances. When we change our vibration, meaning being as close to your authentic self as you can be every single moment, and in harmony with that light. And even that brings up a whole nother explanation, but it's not that we're never not in harmony, but I think that we can agree our belief systems create an experience of being not in harmony with any with circumstances, people, jobs, whatever. And yet when we realize it, when we change our vibration, everything changes with that new vibration, because everything is new in that version of that reality. You're not changing people, places, you're just changing you. And this is what the awakening process is about, is all of us learning that we already all have the answers, and we're creating each other, versions of each other, to just remind us of all of that which we already are.
And it's sort of scientific, because if you draw on a piece of paper what you think your vibration is, whatever it might be, your experience is along the line of that vibration. So you have a vibration, whatever it is, that is what you're experiencing. Things that are too far away from that line, you're not going to notice. So by changing your vibration, by doing whatever you want to do to alter your vibration, your entire experience is going to change based on that vibration, and the reality that is in the vibration that you're in is the one that you're going to be experiencing. So the people, because every person in your reality you are creating from your vibration, the version of them that is closest matching your vibration. But everyone ultimately is their highest vibration all the time. So you're just picking the versions that you want to interact with based on your own vibration. You're ordering it off the menu. Here's my vibration. This is what I want to experience. So you could sort of see, if you draw a bunch of marks on a piece of paper, a bunch of lines and waveforms and stuff like that, you could sort of see how scientifically it makes sense that the all that is the whole piece of paper, and then you could extrapolate it into 3 dimensions and 4 dimensions or whatever you want. But you could see how your experience of your reality relates to the vibration that you're choosing to be in. And we all know we could choose our own vibration. I mean, you could be in a bad mood, you could be in a good mood. Something can, excite you. You could control that. That's sort of what the whole ascension idea is all about, being in more control of that, and taking responsibility for yourself, choosing to be in the vibration that you want to be. So a circumstance comes up and you used to get mad about it and now you don't. Well, you're staying in a different vibration. You're going to experience the things that are in that vibration. It's just scientific. If you see something and you get mad about it, you change your vibration to associate more with being mad. You're going to experience the things that are along that vibration. So it's not really, a woo-woo concept.
And even just us, I'm hearing these messages, of course, as Dave's talking, and how even us, broadcasting these light codes, and we say light codes because that we're all light and we're all codes, we're all geometry. Just us sitting here outside, the reflection of the sunshine, the trees behind us, the Avasamo Shavakibere Koya Maje Ishiata, brings us and you like the tuning fork. We offer a vibration for others to meet in that is more closely in harmony with their true core vibration. That tuning fork that you already are, the source light that is you, that doesn't contain beliefs and judgments and negative, well, everything contains everything, and I understand that. but the not focusing on the negative experiences, because as we know, we call it whatever we want to call it Murphy's Law. We already know that when we let something negative, get momentum, then we start having those experiences, all day long. Or we call it happening in threes, or we give ourselves permission even to make the negative acceptable. And it's really it is accepting all of it, but understanding that we once again have a choice. And so as we broadcast, and even the bird song that you're hearing in the background, you may not even realize what it's doing to your vibration right now. But do realize that each and every one of us are completely different versions of each other than we were at the beginning of this video. It's hard for us to comprehend billions of times per second for anything. Even blinking, if we could think about, okay, every time I blink, I'm a new person. Every time I blink, I'm a new person. Every time I blink, I'm a new person. That even right there, if we could remember that, just that. Sometimes billions of times per second or moment, or we can't comprehend, we can't conceive, we can't really wrap our minds around that. But what we can maybe wrap our minds around is, wow, every time I take a breath in, take a breath out, every time I blink my eyes, I get to choose to be a new version of myself, which then changes the version of the people that I'm hanging out with. Huh? Wow. It does seem pretty magical, because that's the point. We are magic. And
play with that idea and see what happens.
And I was just thinking about playing with Abby and how we, this is our morning. Every morning that we can be outside, we're sitting outside with our coffee first thing in the morning, playing with Abby. And that really does set a vibration for all of us. And then we take a walk around the property. And it sets us, it sets us up for a better day. And I'm not saying that things don't still happen and are coming to aggravate us, but when we're more in the vibration of that, we're in the vibration of acceptance. And then the things that do come into our lives, we can see them from a different point of view. And then our actions that are based upon that vibration change, which then, of course, changes our experience. That's how we create our reality. That's really what that means. So as you can see, she's our she's our top dog in the morning. And eventually she lays down, and she goes and has her breakfast and lays down. But let's see if we can get a better shot of Abby. There's Abby, girl. You looking for your ball? Okay. Where'd it go? Do I have it? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good job. And this ball, she loves her dryer balls. These are dryer balls, and she squishes them, and then we just buy some more. And they're very inexpensive, and it's her favorite toy ever. Pretty much her most favorite toy of anything. It's definitely her balls, but these dryer balls, and she just loves them. And then we just get some more.
And they're like plasticky rubber, but supposedly these are more safe rubber.
So there you guys got a little shot of our morning with Abby. So you can see, wow, see the lights changing already, just in those couple of seconds, how quickly, those few minutes, how the sun has moved, right? And so maybe you guys watching this and playing with Abby, and perhaps this will give you permission to see yourself in a new way, moment by moment, to understand that we are the ones who create our reality by what we focus on. I think we're all, getting that drummed into our heads here. and back to vibration, I'm also being reminded that it makes, when we're more open to these things, more open to these interactions, more open to ET contact, that idea, back to that idea, that we are more apt to not only have an experience, because that's the vibration we're putting ourselves in, because our extraterrestrial friends also operate at different vibrations, and when we are more in our core vibration of unconditional love, we can meet them easier, whether it's in our dream state or, right here. And this is the year we're moving, we all know that we're moving into this year of the idea of a disclosure, and 2026 and 2027, and it's all going to be happening. And yes, it's going to be happening. And for those who are, on that particular train, like us, it's not that there's anything that we have to necessarily do, other than,
well, when you're in the vibration, whatever that means to you, of the reality that you want to be in, the future reality, but you're doing it now, the things around you have to match.
yes,
So
yes,
if you want to be in a reality where there's disclosure and extraterrestrial contact and being able to, book a spaceship ride, if you're in that vibration, that reality has to come to you, and you start seeing the things happening that are more in line with that idea. And so you don't really have to do anything other than act and be in that vibration.
and follow. And I was just thinking about how
Abigail.
my explorations have changed over the years, and I've been spending, for the last year actually, been spending a lot more time
Don't eat tissues.
creating art and painting and drawing, and I created a whole separate YouTube channel for just my artwork. But all, even though I think I know all of these things are connected, light language, channeling, creating art, open contact, we've got YouTube channels for each one of those things separately, yet there's no way to really unravel that ball of yarn, because everything's connected, absolutely everything. And we have these, of course, belief systems in our technology that in order that it's still for me another line of separation, of having to segregate or separate ourselves into different channels. But that's kind of what we already are, is, if you look at, we are a multitude of inspirations, we are a multitude of excitements, and we're still operating on that premise of having to separate ourselves on YouTube, just so that the vibration of those people can find us. And obviously, I obviously am what I want to say, using that permission slip in order to share my different focuses, but yet this me right now, oh bless you, knows that all of those things are a part of all that we are. And this last year that I've been focusing less on light language videos and more on my highest joys, and painting and art, and exploring it in new ways for me, is all we have to do. That is the only job we have, is to be joyful and to follow your highest excitement. And Abraham Hicks has said it, Bashar has said it, every single spiritual teacher has said it. Every channel says the same thing. That is what you have to do. That is your job. And if it means, pop in a tent, if it means, I keep using outside as the examples, but it doesn't have to be outside necessarily either.
Play basketball.
Yes, there's
even golf.
All of those things. It doesn't really matter.
Whatever's exciting.
For me, I've been doing artistic, creative things all my life.
Running,
drawing,
and jogging, and
there you go too. Walking, and we've been putting more emphasis on that. Gardening. Even all the gardening that I've done and learned, and I'm by far not the gardener I want to be, and most things haven't worked out here.
I'll throw something else out there. Shopping. How many people enjoy, even if it's just window shopping?
So it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're in that state of bliss and being present with what you're doing and operating. Who says that? Nora Harold, I think, the channel. She says, operate from joy. I think that is her kind of hashtag line. So I have found by focusing more on art and color and painting and drawing, I'm literally drawing more of my multidimensional self into my reality, and I'm creating a new reality for myself, and even if it's just creating more paintings and more things and expressing myself in new ways, but I'm creating a new reality nonetheless. And I'm creating something that didn't exist before, and this is something that I've always wanted to explore in a more deep level. So I'm taking more online art courses. And again, this is where, even the formula, following your highest joy and excitement moment by moment, as far as you can take it. Sometimes as far as I can take it is as I just have my, sketchbook and a pencil. As far as you can take it without any expectation. And this is the thing. Without any expectations, because I want to create without having any kind of what's going to happen with this thing that I've created.
Well, I want to say insistence
on a result. Thank you. Yes, exactly. And it's so wonderful to have a partner in my life that supports those ideas, that it doesn't matter what you do with the end result. It doesn't, he loves just seeing my art hanging around the house. You don't have to be in galleries or, it's all about the process. And that's been really more difficult for me than I thought it would be, is the process of having no insistence. Sorry. She once, how our furry friends get too, when we're occupied, like talking on the phone or making a video, she wants to get mischievous because she wants our full 100% undivided attention. Okay, she took a little rest. So it spontaneously covered anything that I wanted to share. And of course, these things just go in all the different directions. So, I guess just like this video, just go with your instincts, go with your highest excitement. I just do everything by spontaneity, by I guess intuition. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Following my highest joy and excitement without any insistence on where it's going to go. So I don't know who these videos are going to reach, or who's going to find benefit from them. But I do know that if it's my highest joy to do something, and then just follow it. You know, we heard that all, you know, just do it, just do it. And I want to say that probably everybody does everything scared, because fear, I think, is really just excitement wrapped up in negative belief systems that create an experience. And remember, we're creating an experience of anxiety. We're creating that experience. And oftentimes when we're feeling anxious, it feels as if it's controlling us. And this is your permission slip to rewire your brain, and because that's not true. It doesn't, nothing controls us. We can have a very pure, powerful learning experience by having the experience of something controlling us, but nothing actually controls us. We allow that for the sake of soul growth. And I say allow that, we allow ourselves that experience. We give ourselves permission to experience negative things too, for the idea of soul growth and earth development. And our job now is really to be here, being who we are here on earth, to meet and greet our interstellar families on that level, from the heart space level. It's not, you know, it's not, there's so many different directions that I can go with this. So as you can see, these, you know, these my videos can kind of get lengthy because everything is connected. So anyway, I think we'll leave this there. Enjoy your every now moment. And as always, if I or Dave or both of us together can be of service to any of you in any way, please don't hesitate to contact us. Of course, my website address is in the description of the videos, whether it has something to do with light language or channeling or finding just how to find yourself here on earth. And you know, when we're even told by our extraterrestrial friends that we need to stay grounded in order to actually be the full beings that we need to be to meet with them. So all these things can mean a lot of things to different people, and we all have our own versions and our own definitions of each and every one of those. And so anyway, I love this so much. I could go on and on talking to all of you. So miyaloko samasheve, ni kaluva samoto, shibasha mariusha makila, lavisamoto kiamana osono, savishmite sumanala kilalo. And I keep seeing this ball of yarn, this, like, we're all just little strands, beautiful strands, and this one big ball of yarn. And somewhere in all of those windings, you know, we're connected to each other, you know. So I don't know. Maybe you'll think of it as a ball of yarn now. I don't know. We bid you a wonderful day, and remember to create more experiences in the present, no matter where you are or what you're doing or with whom. You carry your kaleidoscope everywhere you go. And it changes moment by moment. And isn't that a beautiful thing? Bye, everybody.